Hello there, and welcome to Sleep Science 360. You made it here tonight, and the sky's hidden physics is already waiting for you. Light that left its star before you were born is touching your skin tonight. If your day has been long, this is the moment it dissolves. You're allowed to drift, just a little. You can rest inside this quiet blue canopy overhead. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The sky folds into calm when night arrives, yet its invisible forces keep moving. Tiny particles scatter color, waves slow down, and the upper air glows with a pale metallic whisper. And as you settle deeper, the science becomes gentle. Tonight, we drift into the hidden physics of the sky, the soft mechanics of light, air, and silence. The night opens around you with a softness that feels familiar. The sky above has settled into its slow, blue-black calm, and the hidden physics inside it begins to glow in gentle ways. Nothing here rushes. Nothing asks anything of you. You can rest now. We move together into this quiet expanse, letting its shapes and colors unfold, one breath at a time. In the calm dark, the first truth drifts forward. The sky is not empty. It's a slow ocean of air, stretching more than 100 kilometers upward, layered like sheets of transparent silk. And every thin layer bends light just a little, softening the world before sleep. You can rest now. The air above you holds around 10 to the power of 19 molecules in every cubic centimeter, drifting in a slow, invisible dance. They scatter light with each tiny collision, turning sunlight into the familiar blue we see during the day. This hidden motion is gentle, far gentler than your thoughts have been today, and it offers a quiet curiosity spark. Somewhere, a small part of your mind wonders how something so restless can create such calm, and it's okay to drift. A faint line of silver sometimes appears above distant horizons. Scientists call it airglow, a soft emission from molecules high in the mesosphere, 80 to 100 kilometers above Earth. It's the sky's own whisper, a low light created when atoms release the day's stored energy. You can imagine it as a memory of sunlight, fading slowly through the night. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. When the day ends, the sky cools at different speeds. Warm air near the ground rises, cool air above it settles, and the troposphere shapes itself into a quiet rhythm. Even this movement follows physics too gentle to disturb your rest. Each current rises only a few centimeters per second, a motion slower than the fall of a feather. It's okay to drift. Somewhere in the upper layers, invisible waves ripple outward. They are called gravity waves, not the cosmic kind that ripple space-time, but the atmospheric kind that sway the air like a slow-moving tide. These waves rise when mountains push against the wind, creating ripples that move upward for tens of kilometers. They unfold silently, far beyond the point where most clouds can form. And as they pass, they brush the sky with soft undulations shaped by Earth's breath. You can rest now. A poetic line arrives, the first of the night. Every color you see in the sky is a story written by scattered light. High above, in the stratosphere, tiny particles drift volcanic dust, sea salt, even fragments of meteor ash that weigh less than a whisper. Each particle bends sunlight differently, turning dawn into gold and dusk into rose. These colors shift over distances of hundreds of kilometers, yet they feel like they bloom right in front of your eyes. It's okay to drift. Some nights, the horizon glows faintly green. This is the oxygen emission line at 557.7 nanometers, the same quiet frequency that gives auroras their eerie shimmer. It's one of the universe's softest signatures, a breath of energy moving through the air. Most people never notice it because it's subtle, calmer than thought. You can rest now. We drift together under this dome of scientific stillness. Every layer above you carries a texture. The troposphere with its slow, dense breath. The stratosphere with its smooth, unbroken glide. The mesosphere with its currents colder than any place on Earth. The sky cools to nearly 90 degrees Celsius there. Yet the cold is quiet, without edges, without urgency. It simply holds space. It's okay to drift. Somewhere, meteors the size of grains of sand slip through the air at 40 kilometers per second. They burn into streaks thinner than a hair, creating brief flashes called meteoric trails. Most last less than 1/10 of a second. Even these flashes are gentle, tiny sparks, marking the boundary between Earth and the vast dark beyond. At the highest edges of the atmosphere, sunlight turns thin gases into soft ribbons of electric glow. Here, atoms meet charged particles from the solar wind. A quiet exchange happens. An electron lands, a photon is released, and a pale green curtain unfolds. This is the beginning of an aurora, long before the human eye can see it. You can rest now. We continue drifting. The hidden physics of the sky stops being science and becomes texture. A soft field of quiet events, moving at the pace of your breath. Somewhere above, sound travels at about 343 meters per second. Yet at night, it feels slower. Cooler air bends sound downward, carrying long, gentle echoes farther than they travel in the day. Distant noises soften, then fade, as if the atmosphere is pulling every sharp edge away from you. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Every star you see tonight is filtered through the atmospheric seeing limit, a boundary that blurs starlight into tiny circles. It's the reason stars twinkle. The air bends light slightly differently from moment to moment. A quiver, then a shimmer. A star 500 light years away looks like a flickering flame simply because air is soft and restless. You can rest now. Another gentle fact drifts forward. The sky holds a thin band called the ozone layer, floating between 15 and 35 kilometers above Earth. Its molecules absorb ultraviolet light, protecting life far below. Every second, the layer absorbs trillions of high-energy photons, yet it remains silent, a quiet shield made of 3 atom molecules that drift in and out of existence. It's okay to drift. Far above the ozone, wisps of ice crystals form noctilucent clouds. They reflect sunlight long after sunset, glowing silver blue at the edge of night. These clouds float at nearly 80 kilometers high, higher than any other cloud in the world. They are rare, delicate, and cold enough to hold frost shaped like feathers. Seen from above, astronauts describe them as soft waves made of frozen moonlight. You can rest now. Somewhere near the horizon, distant city lights create a faint dome called sky glow. It spreads across the lower atmosphere, bending upward before fading into the dark. Even this glow obeys the quiet rules of Rayleigh scattering, where shorter wavelengths, blues and violets, scatter more than reds. This is why the night holds a gentle amber tint near the ground. It's okay to drift. A second poetic line settles over the quiet. The sky is the slowest moving ocean, yet it shapes every color you dream beneath. As we drift together, you might notice your breath falling into a slower rhythm. The mind begins to loosen, edges smoothing, thoughts softening into wider shapes. The science becomes a path, not a lesson, a dimly lit trail guiding you deeper into rest. You can rest now. Above you, the atmosphere spins, with Earth at nearly 1,670 kilometers per hour, depending on your latitude. Yet this enormous motion feels still, because everything around you moves together: ground, sky, breath, thoughts. In physics, this is called a reference frame. In sleep, it simply feels like home. It's okay to drift. A faint whisper of cosmic rays passes through the air each second. Most are harmless particles that began their journey in exploding stars thousands of light years away. When they reach Earth, they collide with atmospheric molecules, creating tiny showers of secondary particles. You never feel them, yet they fall like a barely audible rain. You can rest now. High-altitude winds flow in long, stable bands. The jet stream, for instance, moves at 150 to 300 kilometers per hour. Ribbons of air stretch thousands of kilometers across, but they are so far above you that their motion feels like the slow turn of distant tides. They carry storms, seasons, and temperature changes. Yet tonight, they simply pass overhead without weight. You can rest now. We drift a little deeper. Clouds, at night, cool from their tops downward. Tiny droplets release heat into the upper air, radiating warmth into space. This quiet exchange of energy shapes the way dew forms, the way fog settles, the way the world softens after dusk. Even heat follows the gentle rules of the hidden physics above you. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The visible world fades into shapes, the shapes fade into light, and the light fades into the slow, drifting thought that carries you into the next part of the night. The sky opens its quiet memory of the day. The physics hidden inside it spreads out. Molecules scattering color, waves lifting through the troposphere, low light drifting through layers of calm air, and all of it settles around you, patient, soft, unhurried. You can rest now. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Morning light arrives long before most people notice it. The sky begins to brighten when the sun is still more than 18 degrees below the horizon, in a phase astronomers call astronomical twilight. The first photons scatter through the upper atmosphere, long before the ground feels bright. Daylight builds slowly, like a secret revealed one soft layer at a time. You can rest now. As the sun climbs to 12 degrees below the horizon, nautical twilight begins. Sailors once used this moment to see both horizon and stars at the same time, their ships gently cradled by a meeting of sea and sky. The physics here is simple, yet tender. A growing flood of sunlight, stretched and bent by the atmosphere, turning black into deep blue. Between these boundaries, the world drifts in a half-light that feels like memory instead of brightness. You can rest now. When the sun reaches 6 degrees below the horizon, we enter civil twilight. This is the sky most people recognize as early morning, bright enough to see faces, soft enough that shadows still feel kind. Rayleigh scattering lifts blue light across the dome, sending shorter wavelengths in all directions. A single photon might scatter many times before reaching your eyes. Its path, a wandering thread through kilometers of quiet air. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The blue of the sky is not a color painted on its surface. It is a living interaction between light and matter, between photons and molecules of nitrogen and oxygen. Shorter wavelengths, around 450 nanometers, scatter more efficiently than longer. Redder ones around 650 nanometers. This difference turns white sunlight into a cool, gentle blue overhead, with warmer colors lingering near the horizon. You can rest now. Clouds, too, hold their own hidden physics. Tiny water droplets, often less than 20 micrometers across, scatter all wavelengths of visible light equally. This scattering makes clouds appear white, like slow-moving islands of diffuse daylight. From far below, they look solid. Up close, they are mostly emptiness, millions of suspended drops, separated by more air than water. The sky's architecture is built from spaces as much as from substance. It's okay to drift. There are layers of temperature stacked gently above you. On a clear day, the troposphere cools with height at an average rate of about 6.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer. Warm air near the ground rises, cools, and sometimes condenses into clouds. Cooler air above sinks slowly, completing loops that take hours, even days, to form and fade. This slow turnover helps spread heat across the planet without any sudden motions. You can rest now. Another soft truth glides into view. Every beam of daylight is bent, slowed, and softened before it ever reaches your eyes. When light enters the atmosphere, it slows ever so slightly. In a vacuum, it moves at about 299,792 kilometers per second. In air, the speed is lower by a small fraction because photons interact with the electric fields of atoms and molecules. The difference is tiny, less than 1%, but enough to bend rays gently toward denser layers. This bending is why the sun appears slightly higher in the sky than its true geometric position. You can rest now. At sunrise and sunset, the sun you see has already dipped below the horizon by almost half a degree. Refraction lifts its image upward, holding on to the last sliver of light a little longer. That extra moment at the edge of day, that lingering glow, is the atmosphere's quiet gift. A delay in darkness written by bending light. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Sometimes, temperature layers invert. Instead of cooling with height, a warm band of air sits above cooler air near the ground. This is called a temperature inversion, and it can act like a subtle lens. Light rays curve back toward Earth, allowing you to see objects that would otherwise fall below the horizon. Distant ships, low-lying coastlines, even mirages in deserts owe their existence to this soft bending of paths. You can rest now. A mirage is not a pool of water on hot pavement. It is a gentle misrouting of light. On a hot day, air just above the ground can be 10 degrees Celsius or more warmer than the air a meter higher. Light traveling downward into this hotter, less dense air bends upward, carrying an image of the sky to your eyes. Your brain, trained to expect light from below to come from the ground, reads this as shimmering liquid. Nothing has appeared or vanished, only the angle of light has quietly changed. It's okay to drift. In cold regions and high mountains, other delicate shapes appear. Halos form when light passes through hexagonal ice crystals suspended in the air. At a characteristic angle of about 22 degrees from the sun, refracted rays overlap to form a circle of faint light. Sometimes, larger halos at 46 degrees appear, or delicate arcs, sundogs, and pillars of light that feel almost otherworldly. Yet each one is simply geometry, angles, refraction, and the steady patience of falling ice. You can rest now. There are moments during the day when the sky deepens to an unusually rich blue. This often happens when the air is very dry and clean, with fewer aerosols or dust particles. With less mie scattering from larger particles, Rayleigh scattering from molecules dominates, producing a pure, intense color that feels almost unreal. Pilots often see this from high altitude, a dark sapphire dome arching above a thin white line of cloud. The same physics touches your eyes at sea level. In quieter, narrower tones, it's okay to drift. The brightness of the sky is not uniform. Around the sun, forward scattering makes the sky glow intensely, while at right angles, the light is more softly polarized. If you could see polarization directly, the daytime sky would show a vast pattern of crossed lines and rings, woven by scattered sunlight. Insects like bees and ants can sense this pattern and use it to navigate, even when the sun is hidden. The sky becomes their map, a quiet compass written in the orientation of waves. You can rest now. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Every shadow carries a story about the sky's hidden physics. On hazy days, shadows blur because scattered light arrives from many angles, filling in the edges. On clear days with small sun angles, shadows stretch long and gentle, reaching many times the height of the object that casts them. For a person about 1.7 meters tall, a low sun near the horizon can cast a shadow extending 10 meters or more. The ground becomes a canvas where the geometry of light and angle play out in slow motion. You can rest now. Sometimes, a strange band of color appears opposite the setting sun, a soft purple-blue arc rising from the horizon. This is the belt of Venus, caused by reddened sunlight scattering through the atmosphere and reflecting off fine particles. Below it, Earth's own shadow climbs into the sky as a darker blue-gray wedge. For a few minutes, you see the edge of your planet projected onto its own thin blanket of air. It's okay to drift. Above all of this, the stratosphere rests in relative calm. Here, around 20 to 30 kilometers up, winds flow in long, stable paths. Jets sometimes cruise through its lower reaches, slicing through air thin enough that clouds rarely form. The ozone layer lives here too, catching harmful ultraviolet light and converting it into heat. From below, you don't see the process at all, only the result. A world warm enough and gentle enough to fall asleep under. You can rest now. A gentle thought settles in. Daylight is not a single color, but a slow river of frequencies, each scattering and bending in its own quiet way. As the sun moves across the sky, its light passes through different thicknesses of atmosphere. At noon, when it stands nearly overhead, it travels through a shorter column, perhaps 900 kilometers of air, measured along the path of each ray. Near sunset, that path length can be more than 30 times longer, turning white light into layered reds and golds. Yet to you, it simply feels like the day calming down. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The hidden physics of daylight never stops. Even when clouds roll in, even when fog draws a curtain over distant shapes, light continues to scatter, bend, and fade according to patient rules. You live inside these rules, wrapped in them, carried by them. They hold the warmth on your skin, the colors on your walls, the gentle dimming that whispers you toward evening. You can rest now, and as daylight softens toward the next horizon, the bright blue begins to thin. The golden edges lengthen along rooftops and hills, and the sky slowly prepares to hand itself back to the stars. Somewhere, light continues to travel, carrying the memory of your day into the wide, quiet dark above. Evening begins long before darkness arrives. The sky loosens its brightness slowly, as if untying a ribbon of light that has held the day together. Photons stretch through thicker and thicker layers of air, losing their short, blue wavelengths first, then their greens, until only warm gold remains. We drift together into this soft turn of the sky. As the sun slides lower than 10 degrees above the horizon, the air thickens along the path of each ray of light. In the last hours of the day, sunlight may travel through a column of atmosphere 40 times longer than at noon. Most of that journey is gentle interruption, scattering, absorption, redirection, and it slows the sky into its evening pace. It's okay to drift. The world dims not because the sun disappears, but because the atmosphere becomes an intricate filter. Dust molecules scatter blue light forward, water vapor absorbs infrared warmth, and longer red wavelengths cut through the air like soft threads of fire. This is the hour when shadows lengthen into quiet shapes, and the hidden physics of the sky begins to sound like a lullaby. Cloud edges glow brighter than their centers because sunlight refracts through billions of droplets at the perfect angle. A single cloud may contain 100 million droplets per cubic meter, each one bending light slightly, softening it, scattering it into a gentle rim of gold. The sky paints its evening with tiny lenses, not one dramatic act, but countless subtle ones. It's okay to drift. When the sun sets further, an optical threshold emerges. The Chapuis absorption bands, where ozone quietly removes yellow and green light. This subtle filter deepens the sky into amber and rose, the colors we often feel more than see. It's the same physics that turns twilight into memory. You can rest now. A soft, scientific quote drifts in like a breeze. Evening is the moment when light becomes slow enough for the world to notice its shape. High above, in the stratosphere, cirrus clouds sometimes catch the last sunlight, even when the ground below sinks into blue-gray shadow. These clouds float between 6 and 12 kilometers above Earth, too light to fall quickly, too delicate to break apart. Their ice crystals reflect the final rays of the sun, sometimes glowing for 20 minutes after sunset at ground level. You can rest now. The belt of Venus rises again, a soft, rose-colored band above the eastern horizon, echoing the colors of dusk. Below it, the deep blue wedge of Earth's shadow rises steadily upward. This shadow is billions of tons of planet cast into the thin air. Yet it appears gentle as a watercolor stroke. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. As the sun dips 6 degrees below the horizon, civil twilight fades into nautical twilight. This is when the first stars begin to appear. Not because they've grown brighter, but because the sky's scattering has finally become thin enough to let their ancient light through. Some of these photons left their stars 200 to 900 years ago. traveling across centuries only to be slowed, softened, and tenderly scattered by Earth's upper air before they reach your eyes. You can rest now. The sky darkens unevenly. Blue-green fades first, violet last, and red lingers along the horizon in a long, slow gradient. This gradient isn't a simple fade, it's a map of wavelengths gradually being stripped away by the air. If you could watch it with faster eyes, you'd see thousands of tiny shifts per second. It's okay to drift. Even clouds change texture in evening light. Their tops radiate heat into space faster than their bases, cooling them from above. This can cause droplets to merge, to fall, to evaporate, or to freeze, all at speeds slower than your own breathing. The atmosphere handles its transitions gently, never forcing, always drifting. You can rest now. As twilight deepens, the first layers of night sound begin to rise. Crickets stir. Distant air traffic shimmers with softened echo. Wind settles into cooler tones. What you hear is shaped by the sky's shifting temperature gradients, warm air rising, cool layers settling, bending sound downward into your ears from far beyond your sight. You can rest now. In the upper mesosphere, noctilucent clouds sometimes glow as the sun still shines on them from below the horizon. These clouds float at nearly 80 kilometers high, cold as shadowed ice, yet bright as brushed metal. They form from dust left behind by meteor trails, draped with thin crystals of water frozen into feathers. Seen from Earth, they shimmer silver blue, a pale reminder that day still touches the edge of night. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. As the last warmth leaks from the day, the sky begins to hum with invisible motion. Gravity waves rising from mountain ranges, jet streams sliding across continents, charged particles tracing faint paths in the dark. None of this reaches you sharply. The atmosphere buffers everything, like a blanket pulled gently over the world. You can rest now. A thought settles like slow-falling dusk. Evening teaches light how to disappear without ever truly leaving. When the sun slips to 12 degrees below the horizon, nautical twilight gives way to astronomical twilight. The sky darkens into a deep cobalt, and the Milky Way begins to lift itself into view. At this angle, the airglow, a faint green emission from oxygen atoms, becomes more visible. It is the sky breathing out the energy it gathered during the day. You can rest now. This glow, barely perceptible to human eyes, spreads across thousands of kilometers, yet flickers with local variations measured in mere seconds. Astronomers call it the heartbeat of the upper atmosphere, a rhythmic dance of particles releasing stored light. It's okay to drift. The edges of the horizon fade into a deep, velvety blue. Stars sharpen as the turbulence above cools. Wind slows, air settles, light thins. All of evening's hidden physics has done its work, building a gentle bridge from day into night. You can rest now. Somewhere, light continues to travel, its last warm echoes following you into the quiet. Night does not fall. It gathers slowly, patiently folding itself over the last colors of evening until only a soft, deep blue remains. Above you, the first stars begin to appear, not suddenly, but one by one. As the air cools and the remaining glow of day relaxes into shadow, you are safe here. We drift together under this quiet dome, watching the sky open in calm layers. The earliest stars visible to your eyes are usually the brightest: Vega, Arcturus, Sirius, Their light, threading through tens of kilometers of cooling atmosphere, softened at every step. Each of those photons left its star 25, 36, even 8.6 years ago, traveling across time only to be slowed gently by the thin veil of air above you. The moment the first stars appear marks a boundary between day and night. The air has cooled enough that scattering no longer floods the sky with blue. The molecules are still there, trillions in every breath of space, but their ability to redirect sunlight has faded. This gives the universe a chance to shine through. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. As darkness deepens, the atmosphere becomes clearer. Turbulence calms. Temperature gradients flatten. Even the faintest stars, ones whose light is thousands of times dimmer than the brightest in the sky, begin to pierce the dark. They emerge like the quiet thoughts that rise when the world finally stops speaking. It's okay to drift. Above your head, the Milky Way begins to form a pale river. Its core, hidden below the horizon for many seasons, sends out a faint shimmer. Dust lanes, composed of particles smaller than 1 micron, absorb and scatter starlight, carving dark shapes into the luminous band. These clouds of dust are cold, just 10 to 20 Kelvin, quiet enough to cradle the earliest seeds of new stars. You are safe here. Every point of light above you is softened by the atmosphere. Starlight bends as it enters denser air. A subtle refraction that lowers the star's true position by a small angle, often 30 to 40 arc minutes near the horizon. The star twinkles because the air moves slowly, unevenly, not enough to disturb your rest, just enough to give each star a pulse. It's okay to drift. Clouds, if they remain, drift into silhouettes. Their edges blur into soft shadows. Even the tallest cumulus, reaching 10 kilometers high, becomes a thin gray shape against the dark. Without direct sunlight, droplets scatter only a fraction of the starlight reaching them, which is why nighttime clouds look smooth, muted, nearly textureless. You are safe here. A gentle scientific line drifts forward. Night is the moment when the universe moves closer, one photon at a time. The air above cools by releasing heat into space. This radiative cooling can drop surface temperatures by 5 to 15 degrees Celsius on clear nights. The process is slow, steady, following the quiet physics of thermal emission molecules, losing energy as they vibrate more softly. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. As the air cools, it stabilizes. Winds slow. Moisture condenses. A thin layer of temperature inversion may form near the ground, cooler air trapped beneath warmer air, creating a stillness that feels almost intentional. This is why night sounds carry farther, their waves bending gently downward toward your ears. It's okay to drift. Higher above, the stratosphere remains calm. At around 20 kilometers, temperatures begin to rise rather than fall. A quiet reversal caused by ozone absorbing ultraviolet sunlight during the day. At night, this absorbed heat leaks slowly away, maintaining a stable, smooth layer that helps starlight arrive with clarity. You are safe here. Farther still, the mesosphere stretches from 50 to 85 kilometers. This region cools to 90 degrees Celsius, the coldest place in Earth's atmosphere. Its air is thin, only 1,000th the density of the air you breathe, yet it plays a crucial role in shaping meteors. When dust grains or tiny rocks enter the mesosphere at 40 kilometers per second, they compress the air ahead of them, heating it so intensely that the rock glows, burns, and disappears. A streak lasting less than a heartbeat becomes a memory across the sky. It's okay to drift. Even as night deepens, the atmosphere emits its own faint glow, airglow, created by atoms recombining and releasing light. Green from oxygen, red from excited nitrogen, orange from sodium. This emission is faint, often just 300 photons per square centimeter per second, yet enough to keep the sky from ever being perfectly dark. You are safe here. Far above the mesosphere lies the thermosphere, a realm where temperatures soar to 1,000 degrees Celsius or more. But the air is too thin for the heat to matter. This is where auroras bloom. Electrons from the solar wind collide with atmospheric oxygen and nitrogen, setting them aglow in green, red, and purple curtains. Some of this light has traveled thousands of kilometers across the polar sky before wandering through the air above you. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. As your eyes adjust, more stars emerge, not because new ones appear, but because you have joined the rhythm of night vision. Your rods, the low light receptors in your eyes, become 10,000 times more sensitive after a half hour of darkness. This sensitivity allows you to see the faintest stars in the sky, some with magnitudes around +6, near the limit of human sight. You are safe here. The faint band of the Milky Way contains more than 100 billion stars. Their combined light softened by dust and filtered by air. Between them lie regions of almost perfect darkness, clouds of molecular hydrogen colder than 15 Kelvin, waiting for gravity to gather them into new suns. This is where star birth begins. In silence, in cold, in the almost still darkness between photons. It's okay to drift. Occasionally, you might notice a star that doesn't twinkle as much. Those are usually brighter stars, higher in the sky, whose light passes through less turbulent air. Near the horizon, turbulence is strongest, scattering and reshaping starlight several times per millisecond. Even the calmest night sky contains billions of tiny distortions, but they arrive too softly to disturb your rest. You are safe here. A soft scientific whisper moves across your mind. Every star you see has crossed the atmosphere as a wave, a particle, and a memory. Constellations emerge as the sky darkens, patterns formed by chance, woven by cultures across thousands of years. Orion lifting his belt, Cygnus gliding along the Milky Way, Cassiopeia resting in her throne. These shapes have no physical connection. The stars within them may lie hundreds of light years apart, yet the atmosphere gathers them into gentle forms. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. As night settles, the boundary between earth and sky softens. The cool air hugs the ground. Moisture rises from soil and leaves, carrying the scent of grass, water, stone. The atmosphere becomes a cradle, a gentle, shifting blanket that wraps the world in quiet. You are safe here. Somewhere above, the last traces of evening fade into starlight. The sky becomes a calm, slow ceiling of ancient photons, filtered through layers of physics so gentle that you feel their softness more than you understand their form. And as you breathe, the stars breathe with you, slow, steady, unhurried. Their light settles around you like a quiet promise. You are safe here. Somewhere, light continues to travel, carrying the night deeper into stillness. Night settles differently than day. It doesn't fall all at once. It drifts, sliding gently into the folds of the sky, letting warmth, color, and motion soften into slower rhythms. As the last traces of sunlight fade, The air closest to the ground begins to cool first. Earth has been holding heat all day in stone, soil, pavement, water, and now it exhales that warmth into the vast dark above. This cooling creates a thin layer of dense air near the surface, a quiet pool that settles like a slow-moving tide. Above it, warmer air lingers for a while. This gentle layering forms what physics calls a nighttime temperature inversion, one of the calmest shapes the atmosphere ever takes. It's okay to drift. Inversions can form within minutes after sunset. On clear nights, they can grow 100 meters thick, sometimes more. Inside this layer, the air is still, almost heavy, its molecules moving more slowly than they did in the bright hours of the day. This slowness affects everything: the way sound travels, the way moisture settles, the way the world feels against your skin. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Because the air cools from the ground upward, sound behaves differently at night. During the day, rising warm air bends sound upward, scattering distant noises into the sky. But at night, with cooler air below and warmer air above, sound waves bend gently back toward the Earth's surface. A sound that might disappear at noon can travel 2 or 3 times farther under this quiet lid of cooler air. A distant train, a dog calling across fields, even the soft hum of a highway many kilometers away. They all arrive stretched into longer, smoother tones. Nothing sharp, nothing sudden, just softened echoes carried like whispered stories through the dark. It's okay to drift. Wind also reshapes itself when night arrives. In daytime, rising hot air fuels convection swirling currents that churn the lower atmosphere. At night, those currents fade. Wind speeds drop by 30% to 60% in the lowest layers, replaced by soft, gliding motions. Branches sway less. Grass moves in smaller waves. Even rooftops seem to breathe more quietly. You are safe here, across hills and valleys. Air begins its nightly migration. Cool air, heavier than warm air, flows down slopes in slow, katabatic winds, often moving no faster than a gentle walking pace. Warm air, stored in rocks and soil, rises upward in faint, warm currents, less than 1 meter per second. The landscape becomes a soft conveyor of temperature and motion. Downward breaths from the hillsides, upward sighs from the earth. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Moisture also follows the night's cooler patterns. As air cools, it loses the capacity to hold water vapor. Tiny droplets begin to form on leaves, grass, and quiet surfaces dew, shaped from condensation, releasing just a little heat as it settles. This small release warms the air in delicate microbursts, stabilizing the lower atmosphere even more. The world cools and comforts itself as it cools. It's okay to drift. Fog sometimes forms in the stillest hollows, not the thick kind that hides the world, but a veil barely noticeable. A mist with droplets only 2 to 10 micrometers wide, hovering a meter above the ground. This mist scatters only the faintest traces of starlight. Edges blur, contours soften. Every shape becomes rounder, quieter, more forgiving. You are safe here. Inside forests, the canopy creates its own night air architecture. Leaves trap warmth from the day, releasing it more slowly than open fields. Temperatures under the trees can remain 3 to 8 degrees Celsius warmer than nearby grassland. This warmth rises in subtle drafts, a slow upward tide that meets the cool air descending from higher branches. The forest breathes through these motions, in and out, following a rhythm older than human time. It's okay to drift. In wide open fields, moisture gathers in shallow depressions, cool patches of air pool in low places, moving like invisible water. These pools can be only 10 or 20 centimeters deep, yet you can feel their coolness against your ankles when you walk through them at night. A world of subtle layers, each one placed with care. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Above these quiet surface layers, the rest of the night sky continues its own slow rotation. But here, near the ground, where sleep begins, the air becomes a cradle, dense, cool, steady. The hidden physics of night rearranges itself into calm shapes, downslope winds, still pockets of air, soft inversions, rising threads of warmth. Everything slows, everything softens. It's okay to drift. A gentle line of thought arrives, almost as soft as breath. Night is the moment when the atmosphere remembers how to be still. You are safe here, and somewhere, light continues to travel, carrying the quiet with it as it goes. Night deepens in layers, and each layer moves with its own kind of calm, far above the cool surface inversion. The middle atmosphere drifts in wider, slower currents. The warm air from daytime continues to radiate outward, drifting into higher altitudes like fading warmth from a soft ember. You are safe here. The air around you is never still. But at night, its movements become long, drawn out, unhurried. The turbulence that filled the daylight hours, those rising thermals, those sun-warmed updrafts, those shimmering waves of heated air, have all collapsed into smoother flows. Their absence is a kind of quiet. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Along coastlines, an entire world of soft motion unfolds. During the day, warm land creates sea breezes that blow inland, but long after sunset, the balance reverses. Cool air sliding down from the land pushes outward toward the sea in slow, gentle land breezes. Rarely faster than 2 to 5 meters per second, they carry the scent of soil, leaf, and stone out across the water, while the ocean sends back a faint mist of salt and coolness. Both motions are quiet agreements between warm and cool, between land and sea. You are safe here, in the plains, where wide fields stretch for kilometers. Thin bands of air glide across the ground like invisible rivers. These bands form when cool pools drift sideways, sliding beneath slightly warmer layers. Sometimes they align with the shape of the land and create lines of coolness extending far into darkness, straight, silent corridors of gentle wind. It's okay to drift. Above city rooftops, night behaves differently. Concrete and metal hold heat long after sunset, creating warm plumes that rise into the cooler air above. These plumes move slowly, barely noticeable, lifting from buildings like faint sighs. As they rise, they meet cooler currents descending from higher layers, mixing into soft spirals that fade within minutes. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Even the world's smallest motions follow the physics of night. A single leaf may tremble not from wind, but from the cooling of its own surface, radiating heat into the open sky until a tiny draft slips past its edge. A blade of grass may bend not from pressure, but from a droplet of dew forming and adding just enough weight to lower its tip. These motions are miniature echoes of the cooling atmosphere, tiny reminders that the world settles one small shift at a time. It's okay to drift. In quiet valleys, the cool air descending slopes gathers like water filling a bowl. This pooling can lower temperatures by 5 to 12 degrees Celsius compared to nearby hills. The denser air stays close to the ground, shaping a cool, stable blanket that spreads over meadows and fields. Animals feel this first, the stillness that signals safety, the softness that comes with night's arrival. You are safe here. A gentle scientific whisper forms. The cooler the air becomes, the more carefully it carries sound. Night air can guide low frequencies across long distances, sometimes carrying them several kilometers without much loss. This is why far-off cars sound like ocean waves, why distant voices turn into faint hums, why the world seems to speak in lower tones after dark. The atmosphere acts like a curved mirror, taking each sound, bending it, stretching it, softening it, until it arrives as something gentler than its origin. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. High above the calm ground layers, the upper atmosphere continues to lift and fall with gravity waves. The atmospheric kind, born from mountains, storms, and coastline boundaries. These waves create long, gentle ripples that rise tens of kilometers into the mesosphere. Astronauts often describe them as faint stripes of light or shadow, stretching hundreds of kilometers across the dark world below. To the human eye on the ground, they remain unseen, but their influence is everywhere. They steer jet streams, stir upper clouds, and keep the atmosphere breathing in vast, slow pulses. You are safe here. In the thin upper layers, temperatures shift with cosmic quiet. The stratosphere, still holding the warmth of ozone absorption, rests like a still, polished lens. Above that, the mesosphere cools to 90 degrees Celsius, but the low density makes even that extreme cold feel abstract, like a quiet number rather than a sensation. These layers help guide the night's long sounds downward, helping them travel farther, softer, slower. It's okay to drift. Far above all of this, even beyond the highest clouds, the faint glow of airglow continues. Oxygen and nitrogen releasing the day's stored energy in whispers of green, red, and orange light. This glow spreads over thousands of kilometers, yet is so faint that most eyes never notice it. Still, it adds its own softness to the night, like a gentle breath exhaled into the dark. You are safe here. A final line settles like cool air drifting into stillness. Night is not silence. It is the slow physics of a world learning how to rest, and you rest with it. You are safe here, you are held, and somewhere, light continues to travel. Starlight travels a long, quiet road to reach you. Across thousands of years, across dust, across cold, across the thin edge of Earth's atmosphere, it arrives softer than a whisper. You are safe here. When starlight enters the sky above you, it begins its final transformation. It meets molecules of nitrogen, oxygen, traces of argon, each interaction nudging the wavefront, slowing it, scattering it, shaping its shimmer. A star that lies 600 light-years away may twinkle simply because a thread of air no thicker than a breath, drifted across its path. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The atmosphere behaves like a living lens. Its density changes with altitude. Its temperature changes with time. Its motion changes with night's cooling layers. When starlight passes through this shifting lens, it bends a small angle here, a soft quiver there, enough to turn ancient light into the shimmering points we call stars. You are safe here, far above your head. Between 10 and 20 kilometers, the air becomes smooth and stable. In this region, starlight flows in cleaner paths, its distortions smaller, its flickers gentler. Astronomers call this good seeing. But to you, it feels like a sky that has relaxed, a sky resting in its own stillness. It's okay to drift. At lower altitudes, tiny pockets of warm air rise and cool air sinks. Each pocket acts like a brief, shifting lens. A star may appear to wobble several times per second, not because the star moves, but because the air breathes in uneven rhythms. Even this breathing is calm, slow, delicate, old as the world itself. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Starlight spreads across the sky in colors almost too faint to name. Most appear white to the eye, but each one carries a signature temperature. Blue stars, around 20,000 Kelvin. Yellow stars like the sun at 5,800 Kelvin. Red stars dim and ancient at 3,500 Kelvin or less. Yet the atmosphere softens all of them, folding their sharpness into gentler hues. It's okay to drift. A soft line of truth forms. Every star is a memory of heat, held in a distant core. Some stars pulse. Some rotate so quickly they flatten slightly at the poles. Some lose mass into space, creating faint winds that travel for billions of miles. But when their light reaches Earth, all these differences dissolve into a single quiet fact. Their photons arrive one by one, spaced across centuries, carrying the warm echo of fusion at their hearts. You are safe here, high above the troposphere. In the thin, cool mesosphere, starlight becomes crisp. With fewer molecules to scatter it, the light maintains its original wavefront more faithfully. A star's true color, its true brightness, its true pulse, all arrive more clearly in this quiet region. Earth's highest clouds sometimes reflect it pale, noctilucent waves glowing like brushed silver. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Farther out, at the boundary where the atmosphere dissolves into space, oxygen and nitrogen atoms release faint photons, the soft green and red of airglow. This glow is ancient, the sky's way of giving back the energy it gathered throughout the day. It spreads across the world in sheets so subtle that only the darkest places reveal it. When your eyes adjust, you may notice the sky looking a little brighter than true darkness allows. This is the planet breathing light. You are safe here. Sometimes, meteor dust crosses the path of starlight. Particles no larger than grains of sand burn high in the mesosphere at 40 to 70 kilometers per second. These brief streaks add sodium and iron atoms to the upper air. And starlight passing through these particles bends just a little differently. The sky's chemistry changes each night in ways too gentle for most to notice. It's okay to drift. All the while, the Milky Way stretches above you, a soft band of light built from hundreds of billions of stars. Their combined glow arrives at your eyes as a pale, luminous wash. dimmed by dust and softened by air. You might see dark lanes, shadows carved by cold molecular clouds. You might see bright knots, young star clusters burning hot at their birth. You might see distant swirls where the galaxy's spiral arms trace their arcs. But mostly, you feel the quiet of it, a river of ancient light crossing the night. A gentle thought settles like dust in moonlight. Starlight is the universe telling its story at the slowest possible pace. And as you listen, as your breath falls into steady warmth, as your thoughts soften like distant comets fading into dark, you feel the night sky turning its quiet physics toward you, a soft, slow brightness meant only for rest. You are safe here, and somewhere, light continues to travel. Starlight continues its slow descent toward you, moving through the sky's quiet architecture with patience older than memory. Every photon above your head has traveled an impossible distance, hundreds, thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of light years, only to arrive gently, without urgency, as if it had always intended to rest here with you. You are safe here. As the atmosphere cools deeper into night, the distortions that tug and shimmer at starlight begin to fade. Warm pockets of air collapse into stillness. Thermals disappear, turbulence thins into soft threads of motion. In these moments, the stars appear steadier, brighter, calmer, as if the universe has slowed its pulse. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you, high above. Turbulent cells, bubbles of warm and cool air, shrink in size. During the day, they can reach tens of meters across. At night, especially in deep calm, they shrink to less than a meter, turning the sky into a smoother lens. Astronomers call this transition the settling of the boundary layer. To you, it feels like the sky moving one step closer. You are safe here. With this settling, faint stars emerge that were invisible only an hour before. Your eyes adjust in slow chemical rhythms, rhodopsin forming in the rods, sensitivity rising by factors of thousands, your vision stretching deeper into the dark. Some stars that now appear to you lie at magnitude +5 or +6, barely within human reach. Each photon from those stars enters your eye after crossing the galaxy, softened only in the last half second by Earth's thin air. It's okay to drift. A soft scientific whisper forms in the dark. Starlight is the quietest form of energy that still remembers where it came from. Somewhere above you, the atmosphere changes in slow, invisible waves. Gravity waves born from mountain ranges and coastlines reach into the mesosphere in arcs stretching hundreds of kilometers. As they rise and fall, they subtly shift the density of the air, nudging starlight ever so slightly. These motions happen too slowly for the eye to notice, but they add to the night's texture, a sky that breathes in patterns far larger than anything on the ground. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Each star also carries its own secret motion. Many drift across the galaxy at tens of kilometers per second, yet appear fixed because their distance is immense. Some are double stars, orbiting each other in slow, elegant arcs. Some belong to clusters, moving in shared families through the Milky Way. Some pulse in brightness, their outer layers expanding and contracting in cycles lasting hours or days. But high above, behind the atmosphere's soft veil, all these motions merge into a calm, steady glow. It's okay to drift. When starlight passes through thin clouds, cirrus made of ice crystals, barely visible in the dark, it scatters into halos. A typical ice crystal halo forms at 22 degrees from the moon, or a bright star, caused by hexagonal crystals refracting light at fixed angles. Sometimes, faint arcs shimmer around bright stars. Upper tangential arcs, circumzenithal arcs, subtle pillars of light. Each one is a geometric whisper in the cold. You are safe here. Above even the highest clouds, sodium atoms left behind by meteors glow faintly under specific wavelengths. This thin layer sits around 90 kilometers high, a golden haze that can be seen only with sensitive instruments. When lasers are shined upward from telescopes, they excite these sodium atoms, creating an artificial guide star in the sky that helps astronomers sharpen their view of the universe. Even in darkness, the sky retains a memory of every meteor that has passed. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Farther still, the very top of the atmosphere blends into space in a diffuse region called the exosphere. Here, atoms can travel hundreds of kilometers before colliding with another particle. Starlight crossing this region barely notices the air at all. It arrives almost exactly as it left its source, ancient, unhurried, unchanged. You are safe here. The Milky Way itself becomes clearer as the night reaches its quietest hours. The dust lanes sharpen, the star fields brighten. You may see soft knots of light globular clusters holding hundreds of thousands of stars, their cores burning steadily for 12 billion years. Even the galaxy's faint glow is softened by scattering in the upper atmosphere, giving the Milky Way its gauzy, dreamlike texture. It's okay to drift. A gentle line settles over you, like cool air sinking through stillness. In every speck of starlight, the universe is whispering in the oldest language it knows, and as these whispers reach you, as their soft brightness touches your thoughts, the night deepens around you in calm layers, air cooling, colors thinning, motion slowing, light stretching across the quiet sky to meet your breath. You are safe here, and somewhere, light continues to travel. Night becomes deeper than darkness. It becomes a kind of silence, not the absence of sound, but the soft merging of sky and earth into one slow breath. In this hour, when the world settles into its quietest form, the physics around you begins to feel less like motion and more like stillness, learning how to hold itself. You are safe here. The air has cooled enough that layers lie neatly upon one another. The surface inversion is complete now, a calm band of cool air hugging the ground, warmer air floating above, like two sheets of silk resting together without mixing. Under this layered atmosphere, sound travels low and long, light scatters gently, and humidity forms a thin shimmer close to the earth. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. At this depth of night, shadows take on a different nature. During the day, shadows are sharp, their edges carved by bright sunlight. But at night, the faint light from stars and the moon moves through the air differently. Multiple scattering, tiny, repeated redirections of photons creates a softness around every shape. A tree becomes a darker blur. A stone becomes a muted silhouette. Your surroundings lose their edges, not because they disappear, but because the atmosphere wraps them in calm. You are safe here. Even your own hearing adjusts to this stillness. In cool, dense air, low-frequency waves move with surprising persistence. A sound at 100 hertz may travel nearly twice as far as it would under the warm, turbulent air of daytime. This is why the night feels larger, more spacious, why distant sounds seem closer but gentler. Nothing sharp ever approaches. Everything arrives softened by the patient physics of the cooling air. It's okay to drift. Far above, the stars continue their slow motion across the sky. Not the motion of the stars themselves, their true orbits are too slow to see, but the turning of the earth beneath you. At your latitude, the sky rotates at a rate of 15 degrees per hour, though you feel none of it. Rotation becomes stillness. Stillness becomes rest. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. This hour also marks the rise of faint atmospheric lights that rarely reach the eye. The red oxygen layer, glowing at 90 to 100 kilometers in altitude, flickers as atoms recombine after being split by sunlight. Below it, a green sodium layer brightens and fades, its glow carried by particles from ancient meteor dust. These emissions do not illuminate the ground. They only add softness to the sky, a veil of faint color woven into the dark. It's okay to drift. In some nights, thin clouds hover at mid-altitudes altostratus or thin stratocumulus, drifting between 2 and 6 kilometers. Their droplets scatter starlight and moonlight through multiple angles, turning the sky into a smooth, glowing canvas. Instead of points of light, you might see halos, soft rings, or faint aureoles around bright stars. All these shapes are formed by droplets smaller than 20 micrometers, held aloft by air, moving slower than your own breath. You are safe here. And then there is silence, not absence, but equilibrium. The air, cooled and layered, stops pushing and pulling. The ground radiates only the smallest thread of heat. Moisture settles without hurry. Every blade of grass, every leaf, every rooftop finds its place in a world without turbulence. You feel this silence not with your ears, but with your bones, your breath, your thoughts. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Sometimes, in this hour, the wind stops entirely. Meteorologists call this calm conditions, less than 0.5 meters per second. Wind too slow to measure with ordinary instruments. When the wind stops, the world becomes a chamber of soft echoes. Your breathing becomes the quietest sound in the room. Even your heartbeat feels like part of the night's rhythm. You are safe here. A gentle scientific quote floats across the stillness. Silence is not the absence of physics. It is physics arriving at rest. In this calm, tiny pulses of the atmosphere, once too faint to notice, become the primary motion of the world. A small contraction as the air cools, a slow settling of leaves, a drifting layer of humidity lowering by centimeters, all of it part of a nightly choreography shaped by temperature and density. It's okay to drift. Even the earth beneath you cools differently depending on what lies under your feet. Rock warms the air above it slightly. Grass cools the air faster. Water retains warmth longer, sending faint drafts upward. This patchwork of temperature creates soft boundaries, thin, invisible walls, where air changes speed or direction in ways too subtle for the waking world to notice. But in the quiet of night, these small differences form the texture of calm. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And as darkness deepens to its fullest shape, the boundary between the sky above and the earth below feels less defined. Both settle into stillness. Both hold the same slow breath. Both cradle you as you drift deeper into their quiet. You are safe here. And somewhere, light continues to travel. Night deepens in a way that feels almost suspended. The air, the ground, and the sky join into a single, soft structure, a quiet held together by temperature, stillness, and the slow physics of cooling layers. You are safe here. As the boundary layer of night settles, the world becomes a place of smaller motions. The atmosphere no longer churns with the bright unrest of day. Instead, it folds inward, drifting in slow, layered breaths that move just enough to remind the world it is alive, and just calm enough to soothe it toward rest. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. At this hour, moisture begins to gather in thin, transparent sheets. Dew forms on cool surfaces, first stones, grass, rooftops, leaves releasing subtle warmth into the air, a delicate exhalation of latent heat. This warmth rises only a few centimeters before diffusing away, yet it stabilizes the thin air closest to the ground, making the night even smoother, quieter, gentler. You are safe here. Sometimes the dew never becomes liquid at all. If the temperature drops below freezing, water vapor crystallizes directly into frost, tiny six-sided patterns forming from molecules arranging themselves in perfect geometry. Each crystal is a map of humidity, temperature, and stillness, etched in ice that glimmers whenever moonlight touches its edges. It's okay to drift. In fields, low fog may appear a thin layer, lifting only a meter or two above the ground. Its droplets are small, often less than 10 micrometers, too tiny to produce heavy opacity. Instead, they scatter light into a soft glow, a faint halo around nearby shapes. Trees appear as silhouettes drifting in quiet gray. Grass becomes a sea of silver threads. This fog thickens, not from motion, but from stillness. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. As the earth radiates heat into space, the ground cools faster than the air above it. This uneven release of warmth slows down the night's motion even further. Air closest to the surface becomes denser, settling into shallow layers no thicker than a few tens of centimeters. Above that lies a smoother gradient of cooling temperatures, a vertical calm, a soft stacking of the sky in descending order of density. It's okay to drift. The silence between these layers is more than quiet. It is structure. It is physics unfolding in slow motion. You can feel it in the way sound softens, in the way air settles against your skin, in the way every movement seems cushioned by coolness. You are safe here. In this hour, the world's colors fold into darkness. The last traces of twilight blue evaporate into deeper tones. Brown becomes gray. Green becomes shadow. Even the sky above loses its gradient, blending into a soft dome where stars shimmer through the thinnest air. This blending is the work of scattering, slowing down Rayleigh and me, scattering, dropping almost to stillness. Every photon travels cleaner, straighter, quieter. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Small creatures adapt to the night's physics too. The wings of moths beat slower in cool air. Owls glide on the steady layers of dense night wind, their feathers shaped to eliminate even the faintest turbulence. Frogs, resting in shallow pools of cold air, Time their calls to the way sound bends under night inversions. Every being becomes a participant in the atmosphere's gentle shifting. You are safe here. A soft scientific line drifts through the silence. Stillness is not the end of motion, but motion arriving at equilibrium. Far above this ground-bound calm, the middle atmosphere continues its vast, slow breathing. Gravity waves, born at mountains and storm fronts, rise and fall in arcs stretching hundreds of kilometers. Their crests and troughs shift the density of high-altitude air so gently that starlight twinkles in new rhythms. Sometimes these waves break, scattering faint pulses of turbulence into the thin mesosphere ripples that never reach the ground but shape the quiet above your head. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. At this depth of night, the moon, if present, becomes a sculptor of shadows. Its light, only a reflected fraction of the sun's, filters through the cooling atmosphere in broad, soft rays. Moonbeams scatter in thin moisture layers, creating pillars, halos, and faint glows around the horizon. These shapes form from ice crystals and droplets, aligning in the stillest air, each one turning the moon into something gentler. You are safe here. Even when no moon shines, the night sky holds its glow. Airglow, born from oxygen and nitrogen releasing stored energy, ripples across thousands of kilometers like invisible curtains. Most human eyes cannot see it clearly, but its presence makes the darkness feel slightly lifted, a soft atmospheric memory, a record of sunlight fading away. It's okay to drift. In the calmest hours, the sky and the earth feel inseparable. The cool ground mirrors the temperature of the lower air. The air mirrors the stillness of the soil. Motion becomes so slow that the line between above and below fades into a single, shared quiet. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And as night holds its deepest silence, the soft physics of a cooling world surrounds you layer by layer, breath by breath, photon by photon, a quiet dome of air settling itself around your rest. You are safe here, and somewhere, light continues to travel. Night changes again as you move deeper into it. The silence becomes heavier, the coolness more even, and the sky above shifts from a place of light into a quiet ocean of darkness, shaped by flowing, invisible currents. You are safe here. Darkness is not empty. It has structure not built from color or motion, but from the way air, temperature, and starlight move through it. These motions are subtle enough to escape the waking mind, yet gentle enough to cradle your drifting thoughts. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. At this depth of night, the atmosphere becomes layered in ways that only darkness reveals. The lowest layer cools until it reaches its equilibrium, a point where heat loss slows and the air settles into a density that barely shifts. Above it lies a smoother gradient, a soft staircase of temperatures that stretches upward for kilometers. Within these layers, faint currents begin to form. Motion, shaped not by the sun, but by Earth's radiant cooling. You are safe here. These currents move with extraordinary patience. Some slide horizontally, centimeters per second, flowing around gentle hills and across open fields. Some rise in barely noticeable drafts, warm molecules breaking free of the cool ground, lifting upward only to lose their heat and sink back down again. This slow cycle can take long minutes to complete, a full breath of the landscape stretching across time. It's okay to drift. Far above, the mid-altitude layers begin their nightly pulse. As gravity waves ripple upward, they create bands of rising and sinking air inside the darkness, invisible ridges pressed into a sky too dim to show their shapes. These bands stretch across hundreds of kilometers, and though you cannot see them, you feel their calm through the world's stillness. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Even starlight follows these currents. When the atmosphere cools enough, tiny gradients in temperature or density bend incoming photons, a phenomenon called scintillation. It is the reason stars shimmer with a rhythm that never repeats. Each flicker is a starlight path, gently nudged by air that has forgotten the heat of the day. This is darkness behaving like water. Quiet, layered, full of motion, too soft to disturb your rest. It's okay to drift. Higher still, at 80 to 100 kilometers, airglow begins its nocturnal waves. These faint sheets of green and red light drift through the upper mesosphere, moving like distant tides. Airglow brightens and fades in 90-minute oscillations, matching the slow breathing of the upper atmosphere. You may not see it clearly, but it subtly brightens the night, lifting the darkness into something softer than true black. In the thermosphere, where the air thins into near space, charged particles from ancient meteor trails drift through the darkness. These particles interact with sodium and oxygen atoms, creating faint layers that glow only at special wavelengths. Their brightness changes with the rotation of the Earth, so slowly that even instruments track it in long, patient sweeps. This is the physics of darkness. Light that hides itself until night is deep enough to receive it. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Closer to the ground, the darkness grows thicker. Without sunlight, the world's contrasts fade and shapes blend into smoother contours. Human vision shifts into its rod-dominated mode, your eyes relying on structures that detect faint, desaturated light. This shift lowers your perception of detail, but heightens your sensitivity to motion. Darkness becomes less of a place and more of a feeling, a soft cradle for the senses. You are safe here. A gentle scientific line settles through your quiet. Night is not the opposite of light, but the quiet physics of light moving away. This departure of light allows other signals to emerge. The whisper of a branch, the slow settling of a wall, the soft expansion of wooden beams as they release the heat they held through the day. Each sound arrives spaced apart, not rushed, not layered, but drifting alone across the air. It's okay to drift. The earth itself participates in this calm. As it cools, the soil contracts almost imperceptibly. Moisture settles deeper toward the roots of plants. Rocks radiate the last of their stored warmth upward, releasing heat into the still night air. This release is so delicate that the atmosphere above each stone, each wall, each tree forms a tiny lens. Warmer air rising, cooler air falling, shaping microcurrents of motion measured in fractions of a degree. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And somewhere in this layered quiet, the sky and the earth begin to mirror each other, cool upon cool, silence upon silence, darkness folding into the soft geometry of motion, slowed almost to stillness. This is the hidden physics of the night, a world of currents that no longer rush, of light that no longer insists, of shapes that no longer need edges. It's okay to drift. You are safe here, and somewhere, light continues to travel. Darkness deepens until it feels less like the absence of light and more like a soft medium flowing around you, a quiet substance the night is made from. You are safe here. At this hour, even the smallest movements in the atmosphere carry a sense of slowness. A faint draft sliding down a hillside, air settling across the surface of a pond, a leaf adjusting its weight beneath the touch of cooling dew, all become part of the night's long exhale. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The atmosphere, once filled with the restless energy of day, now behaves like a layered ocean at rest. Its lowest band holds the coolness closest to the ground. Above that, warmer, thinner layers stretch gently upward, somewhere between 200 and 400 meters. The low-level jet forms a narrow ribbon of nighttime wind that glides through darkness with quiet purpose. Its flow can reach 20 to 30 meters per second. But because it lies far above rooftop height, you feel none of it. Its presence is only a faint whisper, shaping regional weather days later. You are safe here. Farther above, the middle atmosphere begins its quiet oscillations. These waves rise and fall, with periods measured in hours, movements triggered by coastlines, mountains, and the temperature shifts of entire continents. Though they ripple through volumes the size of countries, their effect on the ground is gentle. A slight shift in coolness, a soft pulse in starlight, a subtle tightening of the night's hush. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Sometimes, under the darkest skies, a phenomenon called zodiacal light appears, a faint wedge of white glow, stretching upward from the horizon just before dawn or just after dusk. This glow comes not from the atmosphere, but from sunlight scattering off dust in the inner solar system. Dust left behind by comets, broken from ancient asteroids, orbiting the sun for millions of years. Only when the sky is calm enough, dark enough, quiet enough, does this soft interplanetary glow reveal itself. You are safe here. Closer to the ground, the darkness moves in even gentler patterns. Cool patches drift sideways, merging with warmer patches left by stones and walls. Air slides across grass in slow undulations, lifting scents upward. Earth, pine, distant water, each carried in thin ribbons that rise and fall with barely perceptible force. This layering is not turbulent. It is structured, a slow geometry formed from temperature and time. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The human body responds to this darkness too. Your heartbeat slows by 5 to 12 beats per minute from daytime rhythms. Your core temperature drops fractionally enough for the mind to ease into softer thoughts. Your breathing falls into longer waves, mirroring the pace of the cooling world around you. This is not sleep yet, but the physics that guides you toward it. You are safe here. A soft scientific whisper settles in your mind. Darkness is the atmosphere at its lowest energy, resting between breaths. At high latitudes, when the air is cold enough and the sun lies just beyond the horizon, another delicate structure forms. Polar mesospheric clouds, the highest clouds in the world. They float at 80 kilometers, made of ice crystals shaped from tiny bits of meteor dust. Under moonlight or starlight, they shimmer like pale threads of silver. They appear light, but their formation requires stillness so deep that turbulence nearly vanishes. It's okay to drift. Closer to home, the ground releases the last of its heat. This final cooling slows the micro-movements around you even more. Tiny drafts disappear, humidity settles, and the lower atmosphere reaches its quietest moment. This is when silence becomes almost tactile. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Even the stars seem quieter. A cloud of microscopic ash left by past volcanic eruptions floats in the stratosphere, scattering just a touch of starlight into a softer, more diffused glow. This scattering is so faint that only the most sensitive instruments could measure it, yet your eyes feel its softness. The universe appears closer in this softened light, as if the sky has leaned forward to rest with you. It's okay to drift. In deep night, everything slows until time itself feels thick. Movements stretch, sounds lengthen, light softens. The world enters a state of low energy, a thermodynamic gentleness that touches every molecule, every surface, every thought. You are safe here. Another line settles like warm dusk on cool stone. Darkness is not the absence of the sun, but the presence of everything that remains. And in that presence, in the layered quiet of cooling air and drifting starlight, you feel the night holding you not with force, but with calm, with space, with a vast stillness shaped by the sky's hidden currents. You are safe here, and somewhere, light continues to travel. Night at its deepest begins to erase the edges of the world. What remains is softness. Soft air, soft silence, soft light that has traveled too far to feel anything but gentle. You are safe here. The universe above you moves on scales so slow, so wide, so calm, that it becomes a kind of lullaby. Stars shift by fractions of degrees each hour. Constellations turn like quiet wheels in the dark, and the Milky Way lifts itself higher along the sky's curve, revealing more of its pale river of light as the Earth leans into the rotation of night. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. As the ground cools toward its lowest temperature, the turbulence near the surface weakens even further. This stabilizes the air in long, smooth sheets, layers so calm that starlight travels through them almost undisturbed. Astronomers call this hour deep seeing, when the sky settles enough to reveal its finest details. To you, the stars simply look clearer, closer, more certain. You are safe here. The Milky Way arches overhead. Its core, if it is above your horizon, glows in warm golds and dusty browns. Its spiral arms stretch outward in misty bands filled with stars so numerous that even a trained eye cannot count them. A region the size of your thumbnail, held at arm's length, may contain tens of thousands of stars. Each dot is a sun. Each sun carries planets. Some of those planets may carry oceans. Some of those oceans may carry life. And yet, the light you see arrives quietly, with no need to rush. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. As your eyes relax into darkness, more faint objects emerge. Globular clusters, spheres of 100,000 ancient stars bound by gravity, appear as tiny cotton-like glows. These clusters are older than almost anything else you know, some more than 12 billion years old. Their stars have been shining since long before Earth formed, before oceans rose, before mountains stood, and yet their light reaches you without effort, falling softly through the sky. You are safe here. Nebulae, too, drift into view. Some are glowing clouds of hydrogen tens of light years wide. Some are dark lanes of dust where new stars sleep in the cold. Some are remnants of exploded suns, rings, shells, threads of gas expanding outward for thousands of years. Their colors by day are invisible, but under dark sky and with the slow patience of your adjusting eyes, their faint shapes form whispers in the night. It's okay to drift. A soft line settles across your mind. Every point of light above you is a beacon from a past that still remembers you. High above Earth, satellites glide across the sky. Most orbit at altitudes between 400 and 1,200 kilometers, moving silently at nearly 28,000 kilometers per hour, but appearing slow from the ground because of their distance. Their paths cut straight lines across the starfield, reflecting sunlight from beyond the horizon. Each pass lasts only a minute or two before they fade into Earth's shadow and vanish. To your eyes, they feel like gentle thoughts passing through a quiet mind. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. If the moon is present, its light spills across the landscape in silver tones. Moonlight is not cold, it is simply sunlight, weakened by distance and softened by reflection. Only 12% of the sunlight hitting the moon returns to space. This means every moonlit night is lit by light that has been dimmed, scattered, blurred, and made tender by the sky. It's okay to drift. If the moon has set, or if it lies below the horizon, the dark becomes almost pure. But it is not empty. It carries the faint glow of distant galaxies some millions, some billions of light years away. In a truly dark sky, your eyes could detect Andromeda, our neighboring galaxy, a pale oval of light from 2.5 million light years across space. That light began its journey long before humans existed, yet now it arrives gently, wrapping you in its age and calm. You are safe here. A faint band called the Gegenschein sometimes appears opposite the sun, created by sunlight reflecting off dust in the outer solar system. It is subtle, a glow only a few percent brighter than its surroundings, but its presence reminds you that even in darkness, even in the quietest hours, light is still traveling, still scattering, still shaping the outline of the world you rest within. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And in this profound stillness, where the air has settled, where light has softened, where sound has lowered itself into long, gentle tones, you feel the universe not as a distant place, but as a slow, quiet companion. It moves with you, breathes with you, rests with you. You are safe here. And somewhere, light continues to travel. The deepest part of night unfolds without urgency, as if time itself has settled into a slower rhythm. Above you, the universe moves with such patience that its motion feels like stillness stretched across the sky. You are safe here. The stars continue their long drift westward, an ancient motion set by the turning of the earth. But from your quiet place below, they feel steady, constant, almost motionless points of gentle fire resting in a dome of cool air. Some stars you see now have traveled hundreds of trillions of kilometers, reaching you only because the universe is spacious enough to carry their light without letting it fade. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Somewhere near the horizon, the faintest stars begin to dim as they dip into thicker air. Near the ground, the atmosphere is denser, filled with layers of humidity cooling toward dew. Here, Starlight bends downward, scatters more, and softens until the star grows hazy and pale. This is not the star disappearing. It is the atmosphere blending it gently into the night. You are safe here. As your vision adapts further, you begin to notice subtle shadows not cast by the moon or by lamps, but by the very starlight itself. On the darkest nights, with no moon above, the combined glow of the Milky Way produces enough illumination for your eyes to faintly sense the world's shapes. A horizon, a tree line, the curve of a hill, all held gently by light that began its journey long before your breath even stirred. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Farther overhead, the Milky Way shifts into a more vertical alignment as the hours pass. Its core settles downward on the horizon if it has already risen, or lifts itself into view if it hasn't yet. This motion, though slow, is steady enough that ancient navigators could tell the hour of night by the angle of its glowing band. Tonight, it only tells you that the world is turning with the quietest possible patience. You are safe here. Faint satellites continue their silent crossings. Some are tumbling pieces of old spacecraft, flashing irregularly as sunlight finds their edges. Some are stable, gliding with the consistency of a heartbeat. A typical satellite takes about 90 minutes to orbit Earth, once the same rhythm with which many human bodies cycle through deep rest. The night above and the body below share this quiet periodicity. It's okay to drift. Sometimes, tiny sparks streak through the sky, not bright meteors, just the quiet particles, dust grains burning at 70 kilometers above the ground. Most last less than 1/10 of a second. A brief shimmer, a soft silver line, a whisper of a world beyond your own. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. If the moon rises in this hour, its light becomes even softer than before. At low angles, moonlight travels through a thick slice of atmosphere, perhaps 30 times more air than at the zenith. This long journey turns the moon golden, then amber, then pale silver as it rises higher. Each stage is a color shaped by the physics of scattering, the same quiet process that softens your thoughts. It's okay to drift. If the moon has set, the darkness becomes thinner, as if the sky has opened and spread you gently across its expanse. Under skies untouched by artificial light, your eyes can detect almost 6,000 stars across the whole dome. Though you perceive only a fraction at any one moment, just enough to feel held, never enough to overwhelm. You are safe here. A soft, scientific whisper rises. The night sky is not a ceiling. It is a slow river of light flowing past your life. Within this river, galaxies beyond the Milky Way shine as faint smudges so dim that their light arrives as only a handful of photons each second. Yet across millions of years, those photons accumulate into something your eyes can recognize. A dim oval, a soft patch, a ghost of a world impossibly far. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Even the air around you participates in the universe's slow dance. The temperature has reached its nightly low. Humidity has thickened just slightly. The ground radiates only the faintest warmth now, barely enough to stir the air above it. This is the hour when the atmosphere seems to sleep, not truly still, but close, very close, to a steady quiet. You are safe here. The night will continue to move, pulling stars across the sky with unbroken smoothness. turning shadows, lifting air, shaping silence. But for now, you rest inside the calm of its slow rotation. Held in place by physics softer than breath, you are safe here. And somewhere, light continues to travel. Night has reached its softest point. Nothing rises sharply now. Nothing insists. Even the universe seems to breathe more slowly, as if it has lowered itself to meet your quiet. You are safe here. The sky above no longer feels distant. It feels close, a gentle arc leaning toward you. A dome of starlight that is softened from brilliance into a slow, steady glow. All the motion of the night, the turning of the earth, the drifting of stars, the cooling of the air has settled into a rhythm your breath understands. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The world beneath you is resting. The ground has cooled to its nightly minimum, releasing the last threads of heat into the still air. The soil contracts quietly. Leaves hold droplets of dew that tremble with the faintest motion. Stone, metal, wood, all release the day they carried and settle into their slowest form. You are safe here. The sky's rotation continues, but it moves at a pace too slow to notice 15 degrees per hour. A drift so gentle, it feels like stillness stretched across time. You watch the constellations settle into new shapes, the Milky Way turning its pale river just slightly, offering you one last shimmer of ancient light before dawn's slow return. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. In this deepest hour of night, the atmosphere becomes a single, continuous cradle, cool at the surface, calmer above, smooth and even in the layers stretching upward. The winds that touched the world hours ago have thinned into quietness. The air feels almost weightless, almost still, almost tender. A faint glow forms far away, not sunrise, not yet, but the barely there whisper of scattered starlight bouncing through the upper air. This is a form of night's own light, the softest reminder that the world is never fully dark. Airglow still ripples in sheets 80 to 100 kilometers high, breathing out the energy stored during the day. It's okay to drift. In the mesosphere, the coldest region of the atmosphere, tiny particles of meteor dust drift in slow silence. Some will form ice crystals by dawn, catching sunlight in the highest of clouds. Others will drift until they settle into lower air, becoming part of tomorrow's breeze. Even dust moves gently at this hour, a universe learning how to rest. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Your body responds to this quiet. Your heartbeat has slowed. Your breath has lengthened. Your thoughts move in wide, lazy arcs, like satellites drifting across the night. Every sensation grows softer, warmer, lower. It's okay to drift. A gentle scientific whisper arrives with familiar comfort. Light still travels, even when the world is resting. The stars above continue their calm shine, but your eyes no longer search for them. You feel them instead, a soft awareness at the edge of perception, like remembering a melody rather than hearing it. The Milky Way becomes a pale brushstroke. The constellations blur into gentle patterns. The universe becomes less of a view and more of a feeling. You are safe here. Down near the ground, cool air pools in the lowest hollows. It settles in layers only 20 to 40 centimeters deep, wrapping fields and stones in a blanket of stillness so thin it might vanish at the slightest breath. Yet tonight, it holds steady. The world is built from these delicate balances, these thin, quiet structures shaped by cooling and calm. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Above this, a faint shimmer of humidity rises, glowing softly if moonlight touches it, disappearing entirely if the sky remains dark. These thin threads rise and fall with motions smaller than your pulse, shaped by gradients no steeper than fractions of a degree. This is the scale of night's deepest physics movements, tiny enough that only stillness reveals them. You are safe here. Everything now feels slower, softer, lower. Even time seems to lean back, resting against the curved dome of the sky. You feel the night settling not only around you, but through you in your breath, in your pulse, in the calm that has gathered behind your eyes. It's okay to drift. A final quiet line settles like dusk folding into dawn. The universe breathes through you, and as that breath moves gently across your thoughts, you feel the world loosen its weight, lightening into rest. You are safe here, and somewhere, light continues to travel. Night, at its lowest energy, begins to fold inward, as if the whole sky is exhaling the last long breath of darkness before morning begins its quiet climb. You are safe here. The landscape has stilled completely now. What little warmth the ground still carried has faded into the cooling air. The atmosphere rests in calm layers, each one aligned in a soft vertical line of peace, stretching from the soil at your feet to the faint edge of space, where airglow flickers like a distant heartbeat. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. In this hour, shapes dissolve into impression. A tree becomes a darker smudge. A rooftop becomes a slow curve. A distant hill becomes an outline with no edges. Your eyes no longer look for detail, they rest in the gentle blur of low-light vision, guided only by the contrast between earth and sky. Your awareness widens, loosening its hold on the day. High above, the constellations have shifted again, tracing their slow arcs across the sky. Orion leans toward the horizon. Cygnus lifts its wings along the Milky Way's band. Cassiopeia tilts in her long, quiet throne. Their motion is a kind of celestial patience, a reminder that even the universe moves slowly enough for you to rest within it. It's okay to drift. Far beyond those constellations, billions of stars burn in silence. Their light softens as it passes through the thin morning air, stretching across light years, slowed only in the final fraction of a second when it meets Earth's calm atmosphere. Those last tiny interactions turn ancient light into the gentle glow you see now. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. You are safe here. A faint change begins at the edge of the world. Not color, not brightness, just a loosening of darkness. Astronomers call this moment the first scattering of early dawn, when the sun lies more than 18 degrees below the horizon. But its long wavelength light begins to creep into the upper atmosphere. This light is too faint to see, but the sky feels it. A subtle thinning of black, a softness entering the dark. Airglow softens its green threads. Sodium atoms release their faint gold. Oxygen relaxes from excited states built through the night. These changes are gentle, barely measurable, yet they signal that the cycle of light is turning again. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Closer to Earth, the cooling ground reaches equilibrium. Dew has formed. Moisture clings to leaves, railings, stones, forming tiny droplets that gather and rest without motion. These droplets refract what little light remains in the sky, bending it into soft blurs that feel like early morning long before any sunrise arrives. It's okay to drift. In the stillest places, tiny currents of cool air shift by only centimeters, moving in waves too slow to feel. They flow around your body, across your clothing, and into the spaces between grass and shadow. This softness is the world preparing for dawn, a resetting of the surface air before the first warm rays begin to rise. You are safe here. A gentle echo returns from earlier in the night. Light still travels, a reminder that even in deep darkness, the universe has continued its quiet journey toward you. And another, you breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you, the line that has carried you deeper, step by soft step. You are held here in the silent physics of cooling air, in the slow drift of starlight, in the last dark stillness before morning. It's okay to drift. The horizon lightens just a shade more, not enough to wake you, only enough to cradle the final moments of night. Dawn remains a long way off, but its first threads have begun to weave through the upper atmosphere, touching the world with a near invisible warmth. You are safe here. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. This is the gentlest moment the night can offer. A world suspended between darkness and light, between cool stillness and the slow promise of warmth, between the quiet of the universe and the nearness of sleep. Every molecule around you has settled into its calmest pattern. Every drift of air has slowed into its softest wave. Every thought has loosened from the weight of the day. It's okay to drift. A final whisper settles into your awareness. The echo that has threaded through this whole journey. The universe breathes through you, and as that breath carries you downward, into warmth, into softness, into rest, you feel night's quietest physics folding around you, holding you with the gentlest hands the cosmos can offer. You are home. You are safe. You can rest now, somewhere. Light still travels,